Hey guys, welcome back to Dueling Destination. So today I have the update on my true Draco deck. This deck I have been using for the past weeks at locals. It's been doing very good. I did some changes to make it a bit more competitive and to suit my locals, and I've been having a lot of fun with this. Just keep in mind that Ignis Heat has been reprinted. Well, it's gonna get reprinted soon, and the reprint has been announced, so don't get into the hype of getting the two Dracos yet. It can be fairly budget, and then that's when you pick it up. So let's go straight into the deck profile. And remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And if you have any way in which I can update or make my true Draco deck better, let me know in the comment section down below. I appreciate it, and thanks for everyone supporting me. We made the 100 mark, so let's continue getting more subscribers on here. So we have to start off with one of the best true Draco cards, which is, and I think this is one of the best true Draco cards we have here. I mean, he's at 1. Konami just stopped us at there at 1, but I think he's gonna come back soon too. At least 2 copies, and it's gonna be pretty good at that point. Let me see if I can focus here for you guys a bit more. And yeah, it is good. So we have that going, and we're only using 2 copies of Maiden at the moment. Maiden is a very good card, but I think running it at 2 is perfect for me because I don't want to see too many maidens at one time on this deck, and just having 2 copies has been working perfectly for me, guys. So one of the main cards that I use in this deck is, of course, Ignis Heat, as being one of the most expensive cards. Like I said before, the reprint has been announced, so if you're thinking of picking up True Draco, just wait a few weeks. You should be able to pick it up fairly cheap, and it would be better for everyone at that point to pick up True Dracos. But Ignis Heat is one of the main cards you need for the deck. For the most part, it's been one of the most expensive parts of the deck. So just hold on a bit and we can get these guys going. So the monster count is very low on this deck profile. I decided to use Inspector Border in my side deck as I don't think I needed it right away in this format. So let's go into the spell cards. We're using 4 copies of Diagram. That one of them is being Terraforming. We did get hit a bit on the ban list with getting Terraforming to 1, but it was not something that is going to hamper the deck as much because this deck has a lot of draw power. And with the draw power that we have, we can just search on to whatever card we need right away and just get our card straight to our hand when we need the aggro. So this is still a good ratio for me. It's been working out amazingly. Now for the draw power, we can also depend on the true Draco cards, which we tribute for them, and it's a standard. You're gonna use triple copies of Heritage as it's one of the most powerful cards. This is one of my favorite cards at the time with this deck because I can actually get rid of my own true Draco spells to trap, and it gives me more versatility in being able to draw and get to the cards that I need right away. Another card that I think is very useful, as it's a standard card you have to use, is this one here. So this guy actually recycles the true Draco cards in your deck. So even though you're going at a faster pace with this guy, you can always recycle the cards you need that are true Draco cards and still draw a card. And because of the effects of the true Draco spells and traps, you can always tribute summon them and their continuous spells and traps. So this is basically standard build here, having these cards in the deck. As some draw power that I know a lot of true Draco players like the deck because it has a crazy amount of draw power. I'm using 1 Upstart Goblin, and I decided to use 2 Pot of Desires. Using Pot of Desires at the right time is something very important that you have to consider. You can't just go straight into Pot of Desires and get Ash at it because yes, it's gonna hamper you. And I do not use Call by the Grave here because I think it's a bit for a more combo based deck. This deck is just setting up a board with a lot of floodgates and stopping your opponent at that point. And also I have Card of Demise. Card of Demise is a great card, and with the low monster count that I have, it's been working really good for me because I can draw into the spells and traps that I need to set, and it just gives me the ability to continue drawing into the cards I need. So this is just part of the draw power because I have more cards for it. I'm also using triple copies of Duality because I don't special summon on this deck. I've been thinking of using Super Poly, but I'm not too sure as yet. But for now, triple copies of Pot of Duality has been working amazingly, and I've been loving it because It lets me go through the deck and pick exactly the card I need. It just gives me additional draw power. So we have a lot of draw power in this deck, and that's what we want to. Also, this deck is known for having a lot of floodgates. Before, I did not have a lot of floodgates, but now I do. I might be changing a few of them around. And let me know down below how, on the comment section, how we can actually make this deck better by switching some of them out. Okay guys, so we're gonna go straight into triple copies of one of the most powerful trap cards I think in the format right now. There can only be one. This is so devastating against combo based decks, and it slows down the game for you so you can play at your own pace, and I've been liking this card. I wasn't playing it before because I did not have them, but now that I have them, I can utilize them and make the deck a bit more stronger and more competitive. That's what I'm trying to get into, as I'm trying to use 2 Dracos as my deck for the format at the moment. So I need to use triple copies of there can only be one. Another card I've been liking a lot too that just came out is Crackdown. Crackdown is amazing for me. I'm using triple copies. Some people tend to use only 2 copies, but for me, triple copies gives me a form of defense and attack that I need. Sometimes I just need to tribute summon a monster or just get rid of a problematic monster, and just by tributing it with Crackdown, it's still a continuous trap card, and I can always continue comboing off with my 2 Draco cards. And with the drop power I have here, I'm more than likely opening one of these first turn. I also need to go with the 2 Draco trap card, one of the best one, Return. 2 Kings Return. This guy is a 1. I'm assuming he's gonna soon come back off the ban list, at least at 2 minimal, because he did get it. It's gonna get 3 print in OTS pack 11 as common card. So 2 Draco is gonna be very easy for people to get now. So you're gonna be seeing a lot of matchups on this. So get ready for the mirror match if you're planning to play 2 Draco. I'm using triple copies of Apocalypse, being one of the best trap cards in the deck, even though we have only 2 original 2 Draco trap cards, but this guy gives you a lot of versatility, and being able to reduce your opponent's monster without targeting them gives you an advantage during the damage step. So having this is very strong, and just getting rid of monsters sometimes by sending them to the graveyard helps you. One card that just recently came out of the ban list, it's been very helpful, I think, is Sullen Judgment, but I've just been using it at 2, as this card is always live because you always have life points. It doesn't matter if you're paying 2,000 or 4,000 or even 1,000 life points and they get any card in the game. This is amazing. Even when people are playing evening match, I prefer paying life points than just losing my whole board. So I'm just playing it at 2 copies right now because I think if I run another copy of it, it's gonna be a bit too much for the deck. So this has been working perfectly for me. And I decided to go with 2 impermanents in the main deck because I'm not using hand traps, but I still want to stop my opponent from comboing off and just going all crazy sometimes first turn. And impermanence seems to be one of the best cards. I do want to fill my deck with a lot of monsters, so I'm trying to get some trap cards that can do the same as hand traps. For the one-offs, I've been playing 1 Imperial Order and 1 Monarch's Erupt. Monarch's Erupt is something very strong at some points, but I feel like if I use Skill Drain, it can do the same for me. I'm not using Skill Drain at the moment because I think I'll be paying too many life points. But I don't know how I feel about this card. It's a good card, but I'll try to see if I can get other copies for it. So because of using Monarch's Erupt, I do not have a extra deck. So we're gonna go straight into the side deck at the moment, guys. For this side deck, I had to consider a lot of stuff at this time because the format is not something set yet. It's still all over the place and people are trying to figure out what to play. But for now, this is what I decided to use as my side deck. For the mirror match, because I know a lot of people are going to be going to 2 Draco, I'm using 2 copies of Toon Twister. On the mirror match, I faced a mirror match last week and it was one of the hardest duels I had. I'm not too versed with the 2 Draco deck, but just having Toon Twisters in there really helped me a lot to get over a lot of cards, and going second, I could clear my opponent's board very easily. So we have that going. And also, I've been using triple copies of Evenly Matched. Evenly Matched does what the card says. It evens out the playing field for you, and I think it's a card that everyone should be having now, especially with all the reprints. It's not ridiculously expensive. With the deck that you're getting through Draco deck, you're paying just a fraction of a competitive deck, and it's still very strong and can still get you a few wins out there. If you know how to play the deck great and maneuver great, you should be able to control your locals or even go to regionals with this deck and be very competitive. For the new format also, I'm using Imperial Order in my main deck, but I know pendulums are a thing, and I'm not gonna be saying that they're not. They are very dangerous, so I'm using triple copies of Anti-Spell Fragrance. This slows down the Sky Striker matchup, and pendulums, it just destroys them. So by having this guy in there, it gets rid of a lot of cards that I think it slows down a lot of decks basically, and it gets rid of a lot of cards just going off right away. So running triple copies, I'm very happy I'm doing that at the moment. And something that I've been considering at the mirror match, or one of the biggest weakness in True Draco, is when they let you go first, because they're gonna side in evenly match. This is a card I've been depending a lot on, Imperial Iron Wall, and this guy has been coming up really good for me because having this card on the field, my board is basically safe on evenly match, and they wasted a turn and wasted a battle phase at that point. It's very good against Orcus, and a lot of matchups against Salaman Greats. Actually, the link 1 Salaman Great cannot banish itself to save out a card, so you can just run over the cards at that point. So that's very good. So I decided to use Inspector Border still, but in the side deck for some matchups, because Pendulum is a thing right now, and Pendulums just run over Inspector Border very easy. So I decided not to main this guy and just side deck it, because I want to get the advantage later on with him, but in the first tool I think my deck should be ready for any matchups. Now, one of the biggest cards I think is very important for this format, and I think everyone should have access to this at this point. Basically, when people bring up a big board, all you gotta do is just break it and you can continue playing off, and that's what we call raw spear mode. That's when we need these boys. These guys are some of the strongest cards in the game in my opinion, because they can destroy any board and clear any board, no respect on anything. They just get rid of it, guys. So having raw spear mode in my side deck helps me break some crazy pendulum boards that want to do like 15 negates. I really don't care what they do, we just get rid of them. Well guys, that's my deck profile so far. This is volume 2 of True Dracos, and let me know down below in the comment section if you have any comments or suggestions in how I can improve the deck, so we can continue going to locals and getting some wins there. Okay, well guys, remember to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll have another deck profile soon up. I'm just getting my new equipment and everything ready, as we have a new place and I'm still fixing the studio a bit. Thank you so much, and see you next time.